Hi, so what I'm going to demonstrate is the ability to add more than one database into a RAC cluster environment. Now this is a pretty elementary thing, I suppose, but this is in response to a question that was posed on a forum as to whether or not it was possible, and a bit of confusion with regards to how it relates to VIPs, or virtual IPs. Okay, so I'm going to make this demo actually in 11.2 or 11GR2, and unfortunately we've changed a few things with scan just ever so slightly, but not too much. So we still have listeners involved, of course, with establishing connections to our databases or to instances of our database. And here you can see that we've got 4 instances spread across 4 nodes, and the nodes are as follows. Okay, so there they are. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just, oops, so let me, of course, reconnect, this time with X windows. Be good. Alright, so we run dbca. I'm going to create this second database out of the same database home, because I don't really feel like installing the product a second time. And it really is simple. It's just another dbca. So we will follow pretty much the same process that we did when we created database A, but I'm going to create database B, or DBB. I know I'm not very creative with these names, but that's what they are. Okay, so real application clusters, that's what we want. We want a RAC database. We want to create a new database. Not a new instance, a new database. So we're actually going to create a completely new database, not just extend an existing one. We'll just use whatever template, don't really care. And of course, the big thing is you need to pick a unique name. So in this case, DBB is what we're going to choose. And notice that we get a SID prefix. Okay, so all of the instances will be named DBB followed by a number, such as DBB1, DBB2, DBB3. Now if you want each instance to have its own unique name, like cat, dog, giraffe, you can do so. However, using dbca, you would have to create one instance at a time. Okay, so anyhow, we're going to go with something fairly standard. We're going to spread this across all 4 nodes. Actually, for this demonstration, only, let's say, nodes 1 and 3 will have live instances of DBB at first. Okay, now we can always alter this on the fly, but for now this will be the case. Okay. Now we're just verifying that the 2 nodes are actually available. They are. Are we going to use Enterprise Manager? No. Okay, I just want to create a database. I'm not very interested in database control. Thank you. And since we don't have database control, notice we do not have DB SNMP or sysman to worry about. Alright, so I'm going to give myself a password. This is not very exciting. Next, doesn't satisfy the security requirements. Fair enough. Oop. And yeah, we're going to use OMF. We'll throw it all into ASM. That's fine. And we're not going to bother with a flash. Actually, why not? Okay, why not? Doesn't really hurt. Again, we're going to throw it all, we're going to mash it all into data disk group. No sample schemas, thank you. And we're going to dial this back as far as possible. Okay. Now, this of course is going to be resource dependent. In our case, I'm running 4 nodes in VMware, so no thanks. We'll stick with 250. I hope that's not too small. Since we're not running database control, it should be all good. Okay, so we've got 2 undo table spaces for our 2 instances. We've got 2 threads worth of redo log groups. Perfect. Next, finish, and we wait. Oh, sorry. Right, the summary page We say OK to that. Do not click Finish again. Just let it do its thing. And I'm going to step aside, and I'll come back when this is done. Okay, and the database is complete. You can see here we now have a DBB, database B. We click Exit, and DBCA is done. We now see that we have 2 instances running on here. And we have 2 instances open, 1 and 2. Notice that the instance names do not necessarily follow the node names or the node numbers. Okay, so if I take a look at node 2, just a quick check, we do not see an instance of DBB, only DBA, and ASM, of course. And let's take a look at node 3. You can see there is the second instance of DBB. The second instance of DBB is running on node 3. Okay, so that's evidence that yes, you can have more than one database in a single cluster. And let's just take a quick look here at CRS stat. You can see DBB is being managed by the same cluster as DBA. There are the 2 database applications right there. Alright, so that concludes that demonstration. We now have 2 databases in this 4-node rack. DBA is 4 instances, DBB is 2 instances, and all of this is running in VMware on my MacBook Pro, which is now a little bit sluggish. Thanks for watching.